Welcome to Actual Scale Modelling. This is part 2 of the Hatches part work for HMS Hood scale 1 to 200. Now, this build has already been started. If you haven't watched the introduction to this build, I'll explain a little bit why it's been started. I built this around about 2011 and had to put it aside for various reasons. And part of a Facebook group build called the Shelf of Doom and Daunting Kits. So it was an excellent opportunity to restart this build. I will put a link up in the comment section or the title section for you if you want to join the group build. Anyone can join. It's just any kit you may have put aside that you started, or a kit that you may have purchased and had a look at it and thought, oh, I better leave that for now, that looks a bit much for me. And this is what this group builds for. So all these years ago I left off at part 44, so I'm going to be beginning part 45. So let's get this started. So to begin with, I cleaned the model and I noticed there was a couple of parts missing off it. So when I looked at the sprue, I hadn't got them anymore. I don't know what happened to them. I may have threw them out or whatever. A couple of parts that came off as well. So it's time to do some repairing. So most of the parts that I'm missing are photo etch parts, but these can be easily replicated with plasticard. I've taken this little rectangular piece off. This just goes on the end part of the hull, and it's the part that's missing. So it's a simple case of measuring up and cutting it out to size. And once it's cut out, I'll replace the original part on one side. And as you see, it just goes on the end of one of the walls here. And for the opposite end is the plasticard part. So it's just a simple rectangular piece. I'm securing this, I'll be either using super glue or PVA glue. Both work well with PVA photo etch, depending how long you want to wait for dry time. So now it's time to go right into the build. So this is part 45. And as you can see, the part is a photo etch part, and it's the side of the hull, the bow of the ship, and this one's got the hood written onto it. So in the instruction book itself, it just details what part you're going to be using. On the yellow parts, you see these are old sprue parts that you have to take parts from, and it just goes through clear instructions how to fit the part. And like the other part that I had to scratch build, I have to scratch build here as well. On the instructions, as I said, the yellow parts on the booklet here are referring to previous sprues. I know I kept them, but I cannot find them anywhere. So I'm going to have to scratch build as I go through. Luckily, I'm only a little bit into the build, so I won't have to do this for long. The part that's missing on this sprue is a simple door, so I'm just measuring up with the plastic card on the part to see what size I need. And then once I've got off the part, this just goes on to the door. Now, I could have actually left this off because the door is actually showing on the part. There's another outer part that goes onto it. So there's no need to build hinges or anything on this. It's just to give it a little bit more depth. So I'm just checked it for fit, and now I'm applying the glue. This is PVA glue that I'm using. The next section is some little brackets for fire hose rails. Now, unfortunately, yet again, I need more than I've actually got here because I've lost the parts. But I do have two here, and these require bending, so I'm using my bending tool just to bend them into position, and it's fairly straightforward. You just bend them up like that. If you don't have a bending tool, just use a flat surface and a fine edge, so maybe a ruler or a hobby knife. Just be careful though if you're doing it that way. As you can see, they go on the inner wall. The camera angle is strange. I had to do it there just so that I can show you how I put them in. More often than not, though, my hands are going to get in the way because the parts are so small. There is meant to be two on the opposite side, which I don't have. Once they're on, it's time to put on the main panel, and this goes on the side here. It's fairly simple to put on, a little bit of PVA glue, and all I had to do was make sure that the holes lined up with the wooden insert before the part set. On to part 46, and it's the exact same thing as part 45 but the opposite side. Now, because I don't have the sprues for the brackets for the fire hoses, and having to scratch build these to the best of my ability. So what I've done is, with the two that I did have, I'm using them as a template. So I've just cut a strip of card off and traced a line inside, and then once that's done, if I can just hold up to the camera, you can see the pencil markings. I'm just cutting away the excess and shaping it. And once I've got the shape that I want, I have to cut off the two ends, trying to make sure that the same size. And for the tricky part, I have to glue the two ends in an upright position. So I take the bottom plate and with a tiny amount of cement, just add it on to the part that I've cut off. So I'm making an L shape. And once that's dried, I flip it over and do the same with the opposite side. So I'm left with a bracket. As you can see, dotted around the mat, I've got a few already made up. I think I needed about 9 in total. So I've just changed the angle of my camera so you can see it a little bit better. I actually put on too much cement there. I should have used Tamiya's extra thin for doing this. I would have had more control on the amount of cement I put on. But you can see the bracket coming into shape now. And then it was just a matter of attaching them to the side walls of the kit. Now, they're not as sharp as the photo etch, obviously, because I'm using a hobby knife and a file to get them into some sort of shape. And of course, the side parts are meant to be like a wheel in a spoke sort of format, which they're too small to do, so they're left solid. I thought it was better doing it this way than leaving them off entirely. I'm hoping once they're painted, they'll look okay. So I'll bring part 2 to an end. I've just got some more of these brackets to place on either side. As I said, there's quite a few of them to do. I would imagine these videos are going to be shorter than what I normally do, just because of the stages that are involved. So this is going to be quite a long playlist to follow in the end. If you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll be notified of any updates that I put on, including this one if you wish to follow this build. Hit that like button, and of course, leave a comment. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.